Hello, my friends. Leo Babauta from Zen Habits here, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the things that get in our way of focus the most, the biggest distractions, the biggest blockers of our magical focus. Now, I just did a video on the magical power of focus. If you haven't watched that, feel free to go and check it out. But in this video, I'm going to dive right into the things that are actually blocking us, the things that get in our way. And then a little bit about how to actually address that, but we did that more in the other video. Before I do that, please, I have a request. Please comment below with a topic or a question that you have that would actually help you in your life that I could do a video about. This will help me to create better content for you because it'll be specifically tailored to you. And I promise you every comment that you leave, I appreciate and I read. And I will take your suggestions seriously. Okay, so what gets in the way of our focus? Focus is something that a lot of people want, but we struggle with it. And we think there's something wrong with us. But actually, what's wrong or what's getting in the way is not necessarily like we're weak or inadequate in some way, but actually, this is the way the world is set up. Our environment is what gets in the way. So I'm going to share some of the biggest ones, and some of them are not going to be that big of a surprise to you, but I think it's important to talk about all of them so that you can see these are the biggest ones. So the first biggest one is our usual distractions. When you are about to focus on something and you're feeling resistance or some uncertainty or just like procrastination, avoidance, that kind of thing. It's usually because of some stress about the task, some uncertainty that you might fail or look stupid or be criticized. When you're feeling that, what you're going to do is immediately turn away to something, and there's going to be a go-to thing that you go to. And so you might already know exactly what that is. We usually judge ourselves for doing it. So for some people, it's YouTube, Netflix, or some other TV service, social media, what else? News websites, Reddit, forums, things like that. What else do we do? Our usual email and other like work things, but usually not so much work, but email, because we're worried about email. Something that's like easy to do, that gives us some kind of dopamine hit, some kind of reward, and that's going to allow us to turn away from this hard thing. Now, if you block the first top three, you'll find another few things. And so we have we have an infinite amount of things that we can turn towards. But if you actually block your top 3 to 5 things, it will actually do a lot for your focus, even though you might find some other things to distract yourself. For other people, by the way, shopping is another big one. Shopping, so Amazon or whatever your favorite clothes website is, that kind of thing. So block those. Use a site blocker to block them. So that would be a huge step forward. Now, you might find other distractions, but the ones that distract you the most, your comfort ones, are going to have a blocker in front of them. And so that will make you think twice. But the other thing that I wanted to say is that our inability to turn towards the resistance and uncertainty and stress of this task we want to focus on is actually another big one. So it's not just the distractions, but it's that we don't want to feel stress. And the thing is, we're actually not really avoiding stress. By turning away from the stressful thing, we're actually creating more stress in our lives. It's like, someone is stressed when it comes to like taking care of their body. So exercise and eating right and flossing and brushing your teeth, getting good sleep. Those things stress you out because you're feeling like really bad about it. So you don't do it. You put off your exercise, you eat junk food. That stresses you out. But guess what? That doesn't actually, avoiding those things doesn't actually avoid the stress. It actually piles more stress on. And that's what we're doing when we turn away from a task that has some stress. Is we're actually we're going to feel bad that we are not doing it. And so we're piling on more stress. Yeah, these distractions might give you a little temporary relief, but they're not actually making you less stressed overall. And so what we want to do is build up our tolerance for turning towards something that we have resistance for. It'll have a little bit of stress, And, but that's okay. We can deal with a little bit of stress. And so even if you just said, I'm going to do 2 minutes of this task, that's a building up of your tolerance. And over time, 2 minutes becomes easier, and you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it'll be amazing. But you have to take your time to train that. So that's another of the biggest things that get in our way. Our phones, as you know, are distraction machines. They are one of the biggest stealers of our attention. And so what I highly recommend is that you turn your phone off, or put it into airplane mode, or put it somewhere else outside of the room. Give it to someone. Put it into a lockbox. Make it hard to get the phone, and so that you only go and get the phone when you actually have a break and you want to like check your messages. But don't do it. Don't have the phone nearby when it is time to focus. So I would say those are the biggest things that get in the way of our focus. The last one that I want to mention, though, is this always on kind of culture in workplaces. Excuse me. So if you are in a workplace where you have to always be responding to messages, let's say on Slack or Teams or whatever your workplace messaging app is, if you have to always be responding to every single ping, that will steal your focus. There's nothing wrong with responding to work messages, but if you have to always be on, that is not a good thing for your focus. And so what you want to do is talk to your team, talk to your manager, and say, hey, I really want to focus on these things that matter, but this, always on kind of culture that we have, or this expectation that I respond, immediately, it's getting in the way. And so what I need to do is turn off the messaging app for 30 minutes at a time. I'll come back on, I'll respond, and I'm going to turn it off again for another 30 minutes, and so forth. And this way I'll have 30 minutes of focus. If you need more than 30 minutes of focus, tell them that. Say, I need an hour, I need 2 hours, I need 3 hours of focus. For some people, you're going to go so deep into, let's say, a programming task that you need 3 hours. Otherwise, it takes too much to get back into it every 30 minutes. But for a lot of us, 30 minutes is enough, or an hour. So I would say those are the biggest things that get in the way of focus. It takes practice to change this, but it also takes a commitment to actually setting your environment up so that you don't have your phone in front of you. You have distractions blocked, and you've talked to your work. And so that this way you are setting yourself up for success to actually create better focus for yourself. Good luck. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for my future content, but also share this with others who could use some Zen habits in their lives. Thanks, my friends.